Max and Madden here with Team on the Grind, and who do we have here?
Eric Arias.
And what did you just do this last weekend?
I topped my locals OTS championship over at Top Comics in Berwyn.
Nice, nice. And what did you end up playing?
Snake Eye FiendSmith, the best deck in the format.
Nice, nice. Now, do you have any shout-outs you want to give before the video?
Yeah, shout-outs to my friend Tim Clemens, John Baker. They're really good testing buddies. And shout-out to my team captain, Jackson Madden. He's been teaching me the ways of how to play Edison. I'll be making my debut soon, hopefully. And I'll get right to the deck profile. So
nice, nice.
The deck profile is kind of self-explanatory. It's just the best deck in the format. It's 1 Flamebird, 1 Diabell Star, 3 Snake Ash, 2 Poplar, 1 Snake Oak, 3 Witch, 1 Lure for the FiendSmith engine, 3 Engraver. These are just basically honorary Snake Eye cards. They just take the deck to new heights. And then 21 hand traps, 3 Veiler, 2 of the worst Veiler, 3 Ash, 3 Droll. This deck was really good against the rogue matchups. It killed things like Rescue Ways, a White Forest player, 3 Nib. This plus any hand trap is auto win. 4 Bystials, because Bystials are insane. They're really good against Yubel, and they are perfect interruption against Yubel and the mirror match. And they're just perfect extenders, so if you run out of gas, this helps you push and make more bodies, so you can go into the FiendSmith lines a lot easier. And now it's for the spells. 1 Track, 1 Temple, 1 Sinful Spoil, 3 of the Wanted poster, and 3 Bonfire, and to round it out, the only 3 traps in my deck, main deck, 3 imprints.
Anything that you missed?
No, not at all. I mean, the deck has kind of played itself. I kind of miss 1-for-1, but honestly right now, in this format, there's so many one card starters now that not playing 1-for-1 doesn't matter anymore. If anything, I wish I could play less hand traps, because there's definitely awkward hands where I open nothing but hand traps. There was a game where I won die roll and I opened exactly 5 hand traps, so I have to pass in my opponent. I was able to keep him at bay, but eventually he got the better of me. But I was praying for a top deck. But yeah, you run into those awkward moments. It's 45 cards right now, but the deck just bodies people because you just open a 1-card starter and then your 4 hand traps to stop them. So it's pretty crazy. And then for the extra deck, 1 Necro Equip Princess. It's actually, this almost never really came up, honestly, but it's just there to help extend and push in case you get hand trapped to death. But in all honesty, I almost feel like you can afford to cut this, but it's just there in case things happen. The bridge into the FiendSmith cards crazy. 1 FiendSmith Desiree. Card's insane. It's almost infinite Omni negates, because as soon as it gets outed, you can shuffle it back with an Engraver and rebuild it. It's basically rebuild your board again. FiendSmith Lacrima. The burn is pretty good, and the fact that it can summon from Banish as well is pretty crazy. 1 Sequence. It's insane that you can summon, essentially contact fusion from the graveyard. 1 Celine. Essentially, Celine is just here for my Appaloosa. 1 Promethean Princess. Amazing extender. Phoenix to help make the boards where your Appaloosa can be short by battle. It's also utility to help play through back row. 1 IP Masquerena, end board piece. 1 Requiem. 1 Little Knight. 1 Blaze or Hita. 1 Anima. I chose to play the Anima over things like Axis Code Talker because it essentially helps combo and like play through Droll. So I definitely miss Axis Code Talker, but this honestly is a really good piece in your extra deck to help push through interruptions such as droll. It also punishes people that put things in the anima zone. And one Beatrice, because this card is just essentially what makes your FiendSmith engine bridge into your Snake Eye place. And it also does some other disgusting things in the deck that I'll show in a minute.
In the future, you said that you kind of miss access code. Would you change anything for the access code possibly, or do you think that like everything else was more mandatory?
I feel like everything else is more mandatory. Like I mentioned, this helps combo into things that like helps push through interruptions. I did mix access code a lot, but honestly, if you manage your resources correctly, and then you're able to like set up your board correctly, you should be able to push for game. There was a match in top 8 where I thought I missed it, but there wasn't enough bodies to kill my opponent and punch her over 8,000. So technically speaking, if you can grind your opponent and not resource them, you can push for game by summoning enough bodies and punching.
Okay.
Now for the side deck, I played 2 Cosmic. I wanted some type of chainable back row for any type of floodgates my opponent would maybe put against me. And honestly, I wish I could play more, but the side deck is pretty tight. 1 call by. These are essentially my going first cards and 3 crossout. These are my going first cards essentially to help me play through multiple hand traps. Most of the time I let 1 or 2 hand traps go through, and then this serves to like protect me against the second or third hand trap that I can't play against. 3 Dark Whirler. This is here for Yubel and other rogue matchups. Usually against mediocre Yubel players, they fold to this card if they don't set up their board correctly. So it's just here to help push against the Yubel board. 3 Molcharmi. This essentially is here to punish mainly road decks, honestly. I saw that this punishes things more like Sprite and White Forest. It helps keep other decks in check. But it really sucks when you draw it past turn 1 and 2 and 3. And then the nasty cards here that are basically what makes Beatrice really toxic. Well, it's toxic already, even without these cards. It's Angel Blue Tears, 1 Dimensional Barrier, and 1 Different Dimension Ground. So essentially, the setup that you do with this deck is that you can essentially climb up, go into your FiendSmith engine, and fusion summon I believe it's gonna be the Lacrima. And essentially, this is a level 6, and plus your engraver can help you make this. And essentially, this with these 2 cards together, it helps you set any normal trap in the game that you want. So how it works is that you detach Lacrima, send this, and you have to make sure that you have another Light Fiend in the grave. So as soon as that happens, this gets detached and goes to grave, you're burning your opponent for 12. And this is already engraved, so then you banish it, and then you can set any of your insane blowout cards. So the deck is extremely nasty. There was times where I would maybe get outplayed, but the deck would just carry so hard, mainly because a lot of the 1-card starters were enough to help push through multiple interruptions. And the grind game of this deck is incredible. So, yeah, Konami has to do something about this deck, honestly, because it doesn't punish bad plays, and it's just too powerful. It plays to way too much interruption. There were so many instances where my opponent would try to stop me here in my sequence by hitting it with like a Mourner to try to prevent it from fusion summoning and extending further. And Engraver would just put it back in the extra deck, and then I would summon it back again and just fusion summon again. So this deck is just almost infinite resources. So.
Nice. Anything you want to say at the end?
No, just that I can't tell if this deck is fun or not. It's really fun to like oppress your opponent, but it doesn't feel that good when you're in the receiving end. So
That's fair.
yeah, but yeah, that's the deck profile.
Can't wait to see what else you do in the next event. See you guys later.